Hi, welcome Kay. Welcome Faye. This is Kay Fisher, our Nutrition Services Director and Registered Dietitian at Waldo County General Hospital, and Faye Neild, our Kitchen Manager at Waldo County General. And today we're going to be making one of my favorite dishes, something with asparagus. I love asparagus.
Good. And of course April is Easter month, and so some of you would have asparagus for your Easter dinner. And then some of us are looking forward to fresh asparagus coming into our gardens. And so that's why I wanted to share this recipe with you. We adapted it from the Taste of Home cookbook. Now the reason I say adapted is because we did make some changes from the original recipe, which called for chicken broth. And we wanted this to be a completely vegetarian recipe. And so we used vegetable bouillon mixed with water. And so this is our vegetable bouillon. And Andrea likes to use Better Than Bouillon, and I have another product that I like to use, and it's called McKay's Chicken Seasoning. And so any kind of broth that you particularly like can be used. What you're going to need is 3 cups, 3.5 cups.
So yours is called chicken seasoning, but it's actually a vegetarian version?
All right. And so it gives that flavor. And so you would just mix it with your water. And so the adapted recipe that we made calls for 3.5 cups of water, and the bouillon or the broth mix, whatever it is that you like. Of course, if you have chicken broth in your house and you want to use that, you can. So the other change we made to it is that the original recipe called for cream, and we wanted to make it lower in fat, so we used 2% milk. At my house we use soy milk, so you can do that too. So at any rate, it's going to have the milk. And so
does the consistency change any with any of those versions, the cream, the soy milk, or the 2% milk?
Well, of course, cream is thicker. That's why you have cream soups. With soy milk, it's also thicker. That's one reason I like to use the soy milk, because it's a little bit thicker consistency in the finished product than it is with milk, and yet you still have the low-fat ingredient. So what Faye's going to do here is we have sauteed onions, and so she's going to put that in the pan, and along with the sauteed onions, she's going to put in the broth, and this is the water mixed with the bouillon, and pour that right into the pan. And then this is our asparagus. Now this is well cooked. When you have steamed asparagus, you're not going to want it to look like that, but this is going to get cooked and pureed.
Oh, because you're pureeing it, you want to cook it a little bit longer.
Yes.
All right. And this is fresh asparagus, frozen asparagus?
We used frozen asparagus for this recipe because it's not so readily available now as it will be. So we used frozen asparagus, and it was 2 pounds of frozen asparagus. If you're using fresh, then you can use 2.5 pounds of fresh asparagus.
And is one, I mean, I think frozen asparagus is a little bit more economical than fresh.
Yes.
Is there any reason to only use fresh, or is frozen just as healthy?
Well, I tell you what's really economical is fresh asparagus from your garden, right?
Right, yeah.
So if you have a garden, it would be a good idea to establish a bed if you haven't already, because it's just wonderful. It comes in so good.
Wonderful.
Okay, so we're going to put that in with our broth, the asparagus, and that has to cook together on the stove. So we'll put that over on the stove, and now, while that takes 8 to 10 minutes to cook, and we don't have time to do that right now. So we have some that's already done, and that goes into the blender, and Faye's going to show us how it looks, because you're going to want to have it well blended. And so here's the final blended product. Do you see it looks totally green?
Now, is there some pieces of unblended, or do you want it pureed smooth?
Pureed smooth.
All right.
And so this goes into the pan. This is your asparagus, onion, and broth mixture.
All right.
So this goes into the pan, and then to that we add our milk and our melted butter. And for butter, we use Smart Balance. It's not really butter. We use Smart Balance margarine because it's more heart healthy for you than butter.
Now, in the cafeteria,
yes.
When you serve a cream soup, do you always use 2% milk, or do you occasionally use
We
cream.
do occasionally use cream, but we are switching over more and more to using milk because it is lower in fat. And our employees are very interested in heart health as well. We even have a weight challenge going on right now.
Wonderful.
So we're trying to help them as much as we can by making our foods lower in fat. Now, the thing that's really wonderful about this, I think what we're going to do is we're going to pour this final product back into, serve it into a bowl so that you can see how it tastes and maybe get a little look at how it looks too.
So you just, after you add in the milk and the butter, you just stir it with a spoon. You don't put it back into the blender.
No, you don't.
All right. And your milk and your butter is hot.
Yes.
So you don't have to put it back on the stove either. It's
Well,
ready
it is good
to go.
heat it through.
Oh, okay.
I would heat it through after that.
All right.
Now, another thing is if you want to, you can serve this with a crusty bread, some cheese, and that can be your whole meal.
Wonderful.
You don't have to, this can be your main course if you want.
Wonderful. I can't wait to try it. I
Yes.
love asparagus. Oh, and it's such a pretty color too. I don't know if you can see the beautiful green. This is wonderful. You can really, really taste the asparagus, and the onion is just kind of a nice subtle under flavor. This is wonderful.
Now, if you were watching the recipe as it was going across the screen, you will notice too that there is some flour in the recipe because we made the roux with the butter and the
Okay.
milk, and that makes it a little bit thicker too.
Wonderful.
Makes it a really hearty soup.
This is a very hearty, nice soup for when you're out working in your garden, getting your beds ready
Exactly.
for spring and summer.
Exactly. So enjoy that with some, like I said, some good crusty bread and cheese, and that's your whole meal. It's really very easy.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.